Hello there, how are you? My name is Fotios, and I've been making videos on YouTube for some time now, maybe a couple of months. So I'd like to make a video introducing myself, who I am, what my background is, so that you know who says all these things that he says online, and where all these experiences that I am sometimes laying out um, start from, and where they were developed and how they were developed. So it's always good to know a little bit about the background of the person whose videos you're watching. My real name is Fotios Bastigianis. Well, I wouldn't call it my real name, it's just my legal name. The real name is Alex Fotios, and it's the real name because I've chosen it for myself, and it makes sense to me, and it sounds good to me, and that's the one that I accept as my real name. So this is my given name and my legal name for most purposes. I am a software engineer, a consultant, and entrepreneur in many different places. I am a global tracker. I live in different places, and I've lived in different places throughout the world. Say here Brooklyn, New York, but this is basically just my alma mater area. I've lived throughout the world in many countries, including Brazil, South Africa, Greece, which is my home country where I grew up, and I never studied and I never worked there. And of course, other countries like Italy, where I've worked. I've spent time in multiple European countries, including Spain. And of course, I spent 5 years in the UK, where I studied and worked. And I spent 5 years in the United States of America, specifically in New York. I have a Brazilian residency, which is going to very soon become citizenship, and I also have a South African residency. And I have tight relations with people in all of the aforementioned countries, as I've lived in all of these countries and worked and spent considerable parts of my life. So my main job is and has been IT consultant. I do programming for different people and companies, and I've been doing that for some time. In recent years, I've been an IT freelancer on sites like Upwork and Elance, and I've had on Elance I was doing that. I was doing a world ranking on all its developers, individual developers. I had a world ranking as high as number 34. When I remember the number of developers registered on Elance, which back then was the biggest platform for this type of work, were many hundreds of thousands of active developers, IT developers. So I was number 34. My tested IQ score is 146. I've used this service here, BrainStats, which lists my IQ as 146.4, while the average IQ as tested from people in Greece is 92. And of course, I've done different things. I have a Bachelor's of Science and a Master's of Science in Computer Science. My Master of Science is from here at Watt University, which is considered to be one of the top UK technical universities. And I've worked in the UK private sector, as well as and I've also been a member of the Cybersecurity Research and Development team in the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. One of my top projects while I was there was the digital tachograph, and specifically the European Road Certification Authority, which is here the root of the system of the basically the public key infrastructure on which the system is based. And I've developed this together with a couple of other guys, and I was a lead developer. And it was a very demanding project, and believe me when I say it's one of the probably the most secure systems ever developed in the European Union. Just to give you an idea, because I can't give you the details, after the system was developed, and it has multiple levels of security, both software and physical, and procedural controls. All of these things very, very tight, very, very high tech, almost science fiction-y in a way. I mean, the things that you see when it comes to movies with nuclear missiles launches and all these systems that protect them. So we did all this stuff there. And the actual system, to give you an idea how secure it is duplicated and kept in a very safe environment, which is basically the environment of a nuclear reactor. And nuclear reactors, by definition, are very secure environments. Very few people get in. Everybody that gets in and does something, everything is recorded and monitored. And this thing is in the underground, in the basement of a nuclear reactor somewhere in Europe. And this is where the ceremonies for creating new keys for the member states are performed, and they are performed according to a very, very tight security protocol. So I've designed and developed all that, and this system, many, many years after I've developed it, in its core remains the same, and it still provides the same service that it did almost 15 years ago. So that's a high-profile project that I led with success and I delivered, and it's actually part of the European Union's infrastructure right now. Very proud of it. It was very hard. I worked on it 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for almost a year. And I've delivered it almost single-handedly. I had the help of a very, very good support engineer who was Italian. And there was a number of other theoretical people around us, and administrative, and of course, yes, mainly administrative, that really helped us and provided the funding and all the other stuff that is needed for this kind of the logistics and all this other stuff that is needed for such a high-profile project. So another thing that I've done, this is one of the many things that I've done. Obviously, as part of the European Commission's cybersecurity team, I've done all kinds of things, including critical infrastructure protection, meaning protecting systems, ideas, software, prototypes, proof of concepts for protecting Europe's critical infrastructures, like the electricity network, for instance, or the internet network, or the data networks, and other critical infrastructures, the electricity network, from cyber attacks, basically. And I've made my name while doing that. Many people respected me. Many people hated me as well. And the main reason that they've hated me is mainly political reasons, because I've always been a very strongly opinionated person. And I've made a lot of enemies because of that. I've never compromised on my ideas, even when they were going against my interests, especially losing a job. I almost lost my job because of it. I've been prosecuted, but I never gave up. And eventually, after leaving this job, I became a freelancer, and that gave me all the freedom that I needed to express my ideas while continuing working on what I love, which is IT and technology, and doing some entrepreneurial work as well. So while doing these entrepreneurial efforts, I've done things like Transcend Software, which is my personal company based in South Africa, and we're doing very exciting things here. Some of them on the fringe of let's say lawful development. But very exciting in the sense that we explore what can be done in order to find new meaning and new boundaries for digital freedom. So we create botnets, invisible digital watermarking, adware solutions, global residential IP for anonymizing purposes, and even DNS attacks where it's needed. And the main reason that we develop all these tools is the way we do it, and the reason we do it is for white hat purposes and for purposes that have to do with what we perceive to be digital freedom and protecting the freedom of speech of people. Collaborative document authoring and all-purpose development. I've done all kinds of things, helped all kinds of people's organizations and companies in my 15 years as a freelance developer. And some of my projects together with video are here, and you can check it all out. Darknet, botnets, invisible watermarking. It's a very exciting project. Provides very strong protection for intellectual property for artists, and some testimonials from clients. The site is transcendsoftware.co.za, and you can check it out anytime. Another project that I've done is Domino. Domino is a Brazilian company, and basically it develops and markets a newly conceived and designed and developed by me, as well as patented in Brazil, free air automated locker system for beaches, meaning that you go to the beach, you can secure your stuff in that beach locker, and this is a needed service in Brazil because of the petty theft that you get in countries like Brazil. This is the prototype when it was being developed in China. The project was frozen due to me not having the appropriate resources or especially funds to complete it, but I eventually will continue and develop it, and I intend to install a couple of pilots of these systems in Brazil and make it a thing that Brazilians will actually use. This is one of the presentations about Domino Enterprises and what it does, what it's supposed. It's in Brazilian, but basically it says Brazil is beautiful, has beautiful beaches, it has food, drinks, services, infrastructure, nice company, but in many cases it's very insecure. And when you are in the beach, what worries you? And I said one of the things that worries you, and this is definitely something that you will feel if you go to a place like Brazil, is losing your things that you leave behind when you go swimming, or you will go playing volleyball or whatever, or running around. There's a lot of petty theft happens all over the place, and my idea was to create this new thing, which is called the Domino Locker, which will help you safeguard your belongings while you do other things in the Brazilian beach, including mingling with people and dancing and being in the big crowd without worrying about getting robbed or pickpocketed. This is what the locker looks like in a 3D model that I created. I have a full 3D model of the design. I mean, it is part of a patent that has been formally registered with the Brazilian Intellectual Property Organization. Inside the kiosk, this will be operated by kiosks for a fee, and the kiosks will be getting part of the profits. And inside the kiosk there is a control system, which is a touch screen that helps them take payments from clients and allocate them one of the lockers. The lockers are controlled by PIN, which opens them, and the PIN is only known by the client and expires after a certain amount of time that has been allotted for payment goes out. Meaning that when the time finishes, the PIN also stops working, and it is then that the locker can actually be unlocked by the owner of the locker after a certain grace period passes. So that's the idea. For Domino, which is one of my companies, I have a couple of other companies that are still under wraps, and they will be coming up in the next couple of years. And of course, I have also software that I intend to release under my name. It's going to be a couple of applications for Android that I think are much needed. A couple of Office add-ins for Microsoft's Office platform that you can buy off the Office store, and these are also coming up, and a couple of Google Chrome extensions for the browser. So this will all be very cheap, not free, but very cheap extensions that you can buy the services of. In the case of Android applications, they will have an adware mode where they do everything for free, but they display ads, and then you pay something to remove the ads, which is the typical deal. So that's what I do. And recently, I also do a lot of blogging and vlogging. Blogging is something that I always did in various sites that I would once put all together in a place for demonstration purposes. But basically, the stuff that I write is all original. I'm an original thinker. I do my own thinking and my own research, and I often touch very arcane but interesting subjects. And I very often have very non-mainstream opinions about stuff that are, however, and nevertheless, very well researched and make a lot of sense, I think. It's just that most people don't think about them or don't dare to think about them. So basically, I place myself in the alt-right movement currently, and that's what I do. And one of the things, as a person that one of the things that I do and do a lot of, especially these days, is propagate this view that Greece is a country that, although it belongs to the West, is a country that has been conceived in the wrong way, and it's a country that is problematic in this sense and has to change. And it is, in fact, the way it exists today, a fake country that creates problems to its people and to Europe, to which it's part of, and therefore something has to be done in order to deal with this problem. And I offer solutions or proposals to what can be done and how exactly this problem was created and who those people who call themselves Greeks really are. But this is only like a very small part of what I discuss overall. Over the years, I've touched all kinds of subjects. I could fill multiple books, actually, and I have a lot of material that I would like to bring into video form, discuss them, and slowly make a strong case about them. So using this platform where you can actually see me talking, but at the same time I have my screen where I can present different things. I will present you with a lot of visual and textual information that you can see, and making my case about all kinds of things. One of the things that I do, and my main gig as a freelancer, as an IT freelancer, is my Upwork profile, where I'm one of the top Upwork developers. I have a 100% job success score, and that's after working for Upwork for about 4 years now. My total earnings are above $200,000, but actually they're very close to $300,000 now. And this is only 50% of my IT-related business. I get that much or more from private clients that I work with directly, and of course I have my other gigs and other companies that are providing for the time being smaller amounts, but I expect that in the next 2-3 years they will actually turn out to be the main sources of my income. And I hope that through my entrepreneurship and ideas, I will get to the point where from making 150,000 per month, roughly, as a net profit, I'll be making 10 times that. And that's the idea. So that's my plans, and that's what I do. And I'll be giving you reports on how my personal business is going, insights into what I do and the kinds of business that I'm involved and how they're working. And of course, I'll be giving you my political perspective, which is quite unique and I would say often polemic to many of the mainstream views of today, but well founded and well researched always. I have a very philosophical perspective on things, and I have a lot of experience with the world and the different cultures in it. I speak 5 languages. I've lived in multiple cultures, and I mean I really lived in them. I've worked in different countries, and I've married into different races and different cultures, and I believe I'm now mature enough to really um, somehow integrate all these experiences and knowledge into something that is multi-pronged and can provide insights to many other people and help them reach a better understanding as well. And cumulatively, hopefully, everybody together, maybe we can break out of certain impasses that we're currently experiencing in the Western world, and which I hope I'll be a small little tangent, or not rather tangent, but contributing force in helping to make happen. So that's who I am, that's what I do. Thank you very much for listening, and hopefully you'll be listening to my upcoming videos and checking out the content and information that I'll be pushing your way. And I'm always open to well-meaning, well-thought-out ideas. I don't have a lot of patience for stupidity and people who don't think about stuff before talking. Therefore, I will also be. I can also be quite rude to people who just don't give me something that I believe I deserve, which is a well thought out response. Cheers. Thank you very much.